From rising to fame in the WNBA almost overnight, to getting wrapped up in scandals left and right, here's what NBA legends think of Liz Cambage, the most controversial player in the WNBA. It's no secret that Liz is extremely talented. How else do you explain being named an All-Star 3 times? When she was first drafted by the Tulsa Shock in 2011, she made the All-Rookie team too. As if this wasn't enough, Liz was also named the peak performer and leading scorer in 2018. She has some insane talent, so if you're wondering why she's so controversial, you don't have to look any further than her basketball stint in Australia. You see, Liz was a star even in the WNBL and made history for being one of the greatest basketball players to come out of the country. After playing for the Bulleen Boomers, she went on to play for the Opals at the FIBA World Championships in 2010. That's where WNBA scouts recognized her talents after all. But now, Liz is banned from ever competing on any Australian national teams. Liz has a history of not getting along with her teammates, or even her opponents for that matter. A few years ago, she told Nigerian players to go back to their third world country, right before a practice match for the Olympics. Can you imagine that? Everyone was absolutely shocked to hear this, especially because the center is half Nigerian. Yep, you heard that right. That's not all that she said and did though, because apparently Liz also elbowed one of the players and called some players on the Nigerian team monkeys. As you might have guessed already, she was on the receiving end of some major backlash. Fans were not afraid to voice their opinions, questioning how a woman of color could be racist to her own race. Make it make sense. Because this controversy blew up, Liz ended up dropping out of the Olympics completely, and the Australian team launched a full-fledged investigation into her behavior. She even addressed the situation directly via Instagram and completely denied all the accusations of racism. The former Opal star said that she was disappointed and hurt because of all the things that the media was saying, adding that the retelling of the situation is misleading. People bashed her for this too, because there were multiple witnesses who saw this whole thing go down, and the Telegraph even released a video. You can clearly see her being defended by Victoria McCauley, and then going on to elbow the Nigerian player in the head and neck. Despite all this evidence, Liz played the good old victim card, saying that she was physically assaulted by McCauley after unintentionally fouling her. As if this wasn't enough, Lizzie went on to say that she was hit in the face and pushed to the ground. And honestly, her tone made it seem like she does not take accountability. She also claimed that she didn't use the racial slur against her opponents. Liz also implied that everything that went down was not her fault, because she's the one who asked management to make her sit the game out due to her mental and physical health concerns. She really pulled a reverse on everyone and made this whole situation about her own mental health and how it drove her to one of the lowest points in her life. Would you look at that? I guess discussions of mental health only come up when it's convenient. As if all this drama wasn't enough, it gets worse. Some Australian players at the practice said that this wasn't the first time that Liz acted like this. She has a history of being problematic, and it looks like all that trash talking finally caught up to her. If you thought things couldn't get even messier, get this. Liz was caught telling players of the Opals that she wished she played for Nigeria because her Australian teammates were racist. Wow, talk about switching up. All this drama with Liz has led to some basketball superstars weighing in and giving their opinion, which is what Andrew Bogut did. AB's claim to fame came when he became a first-round draft pick in 2005. He went on to win a title with the Golden State Warriors and just kept on getting better and better. Bogey's widely regarded as one of the best Aussie basketball players to set foot in the NBA, and everyone can see why. He gave fans some insider info on what really happened with this whole Liz drama. In an interview with Ben Fordham, Drew said that what fans heard was just the PG version. Apparently, Liz's actual words were even more shocking than what we heard. Bogut also gave his own thoughts on the situation, saying that the way things went down was beyond despicable. The former Warriors center looked horrified when he said that what Liz said can't be repeated on the radio, and added that some words can never be repeated, and even he himself would never dare to say them. At the end of the day, he was just glad that someone came out and exposed Liz. If you thought this was everything Bogut said about Liz, though, you're wrong. These two have had beef for a long time. They usually have it out for each other on Twitter. After the former Opals center dropped out of the Tokyo Olympics, Bogut speculated it was all about underwear. Yes, you heard that right, so there's no need to rewind the video. It looks like AB is quite the conspiracy theorist, because according to him, the promo shoot pictures over which Liz threatened to boycott the Australian Olympics team were for jockey. Drew thought that the reason Liz was so worked up about this was because she was an ambassador for Bonds. All this was just speculation though, because, as it turns out, both Bonds and Jockey are owned by Hanes. The reason Liz wasn't happy about those photos was that she didn't feel represented, and that's understandable, because there was only one person of color in the whole group. Liz was quick to respond to the former NBA champion though, and took to Twitter calling him strange for his comments. She even said that Bogut has been speaking on her name for the past 10 years, saying that it's time to hang it up. The two have had it out on social media multiple times, so let's throw it back to the Rio Olympics. That's when Liz called him an ignorant goose for making fun of anti-police brutality protests in Melbourne. Their fight escalated, and it looks like the two are always going to hate each other. Liz is probably the most controversial WNBA player ever, because people like Andrew Gaze have called her out too. Gaze said that it's hard to accept Liz's version of the story when it comes to her altercation with the Nigerian Olympic team. He commented on how the whole situation was sad, and that it would take away from Liz's future legacy, along with leaving a negative impact on the Opals. The former Australian basketball player said that her comments were highly hurtful and make it look like she wasn't supported by the Australian team. Gaze went out to say that the statement Liz put out on IG was offensive simply because he knew how well supported she was. Liz has been caught up in scandals since the beginning of her career, and it looks like they're not stopping anytime soon. After hopping from team to team for almost a decade, it's clear that the English-born Australian basketball player cannot commit to a single team. She made her mark in the WNBA as one of the most formidable players, averaging 13 points, 6.4 rebounds, and 2.1 assists in the 25 games she played with the LA Sparks. Being the second overall pick in the 2011 NBA draft, Liz was feared by everyone. Just when fans got excited that she was settling in well with the Sparks, she announced that she was parting ways with the team because of a contract dispute. Liz also called out the WNBA when she announced her departure from the team, saying that she's retiring from the organization for the time being, and hopes that the league will try its best to create a safer working environment, along with a strong support system for their players. I'm sensing a pattern here, and it looks like Liz might just be the problem. How else do you explain having a conflict with every team you've ever played with? The fact that this was the third team she's left in 5 years doesn't make her look too good either. It's clear that Liz does not care about the rules. She even skipped a national camp to go to a music festival back in 2016. Lauren Jackson, a 4-time Olympic medalist, commented on this ridiculous situation way back then, saying that she was baffled. Liz said that she only went because she was a paid host for a band, but nobody liked that. What could possibly be more important than winning Olympic gold? It looks like Lizzie's never going to accept her mistakes though, because even back then she said she did everything she could to keep everyone happy. No wonder she has so much criticism coming her way. So, from getting wrapped up in scandals left and right, to rising to fame in the WNBA almost overnight, this was what NBA legends think of Liz, the most controversial WNBA player.